Okay, this will likely be one of my more important videos because we all want to be successful and we're a little curious, if not nervous, about how a startup can become a unicorn. Or perhaps, how does an entrepreneur become a billionaire? Having studied this for a while, and I've achieved the concept of accelerated entrepreneurship. By the way, that's also called Hyperspeed Entrepreneurship. And indeed, I wrote a book. It was a bestseller, ironically, or humbly put, called The Startup Story. And it's a perfect example of how I achieved this model in the 3D printing industry. I'm going to share with you a universal path, an approach that really doesn't change, that most people can follow. Here's the first point. There is no billionaire that won't say that timing was a factor or that luck played a role. But actually, when we look more closer, no billionaire became one without passing through some key steps that defined their rise to billionaire status. Let's dive in. Firstly, we have to create or identify what we call a high-performing idea. That means think of a big market where a product ecosystem is possible, where there's lots of customers and the potential for a great solution. This is a place to start searching for a product or service and begin the validation. The product or service has to have insane USPs, unique selling points, average, good, or great USPs. We must strive for insane, meaning valuable and scalable. Good are reserved for those USPs with a limited market opportunity. Average won't really get us anywhere in today's world. So insane USPs are critical. Now we must enter a hype cycle market, a market defined as a growing community with a relationship and passion for a subject or innovation that captivates us all. Before I get to the benefits of a hype cycle market, it's worth pointing out that there are always a number of hype cycles swirling around the world at any one time in varying sizes. We can clearly look at AI as a hyped market that has continued to experience hype cycles, and in fact, it is so big that this one in particular has sub-hype cycles. Hype cycle markets are great places to innovate solutions from within. Customers, for starters, are a lot easier to find. And the passion from the community drives product insights. Areas of concern highlights regulation, recruitment is much easier. PR becomes a potent weapon because we have insane USPs and we have competitors that want what you've got. So the media are going to listen. Important sidebar here. Remember the billionaire thing at the start. All billionaires had to create insane USPs and enter a hype cycle market in order to experience massive scale up. Amazon started with books and quickly transitioned to all products and defined e-commerce. Microsoft gave us the first real operating system, MS-DOS, that went on to dominate 90% of personal computers. Google got out first with the first search firm that scaled. If you take a high-performing idea and turn this into a product or service with insane USPs in a hype cycle market, you are already very close to becoming a billionaire and reaching a unicorn status with your startup. Oh, and raising capital for your startup just became much, much easier and at scale. Now, I haven't glossed over it, or not intentionally, but to bring up the point that what all billionaires followed up with, and at the right time, was the ability to create a product or service, a solution that served as a platform to a product or service ecosystem. In the beginning, less was more. The product or service had to improve the lives of others and/or solve a problem that customers wanted. Solving a specific problem that scales up is key to creating a unicorn startup. So let's quickly recap. Insane USPs, a hyped market, and a well-timed product or service are the essential ingredients of what all billionaires possessed when they became successful. Some important mentions that are part of this method. These helped hyperspeed entrepreneurs or trailblazing billionaires. Successful billionaires in the making knew how to release a product or service quick, get customer feedback and improve it, not procrastinate or try to solve a problem from too many vantage points or add too many features quickly without validation. Also, doing global PR can be a daunting task. The competitors are watching, they want what you have. Indeed, I once woke up to 29 counts of defamation in an online article written by a journalist during my 3D printing years, because they were paid by a competitor to attack us, because the market was threatened by our USPs. They didn't want us to make such claims of innovation or to move too fast, or humbly put, they preferred to see us fail. But my recommendation is put on the armor. Don't shy away from this because you have the winning hand. You have the insane USPs and hopefully a product or service that can get you out in front of the media, will give you the attention, and PR will become much, much easier. Funding, as I mentioned earlier, will be much easier. History has shown us not to be overly worried about valuation in the beginning because in a hyperspeed scenario, it will all wash out in the end. Great entrepreneurs that become billionaires figured out that they either had enough time to get ahead in the market or found ways to defend their product or services with IP protection and patents. This is a key point. Lastly, all successful billionaires had another thing in common. They were all customer-centric. They went to sleep thinking about how they could improve customers' lives. This is the key thing. It cuts across everything they do, from branding, product marketing, PR, sales, after sales, and support. They were obsessed with the customer mindset. This is a key recommendation that will get you started and will allow you to pursue accelerated entrepreneurship. And one final thing, there's a tipping point for all of these different steps I've given you, and you'll know when you've reached it. You'll pass it, be able to measure the outcome, and that's fantastic. But if you don't achieve it, strive for them, because you can dance close to the line and still get something out of it. You may not reach that tipping point, but you will still do great. An example would be good USPs instead of insane USPs. That means, okay, you have a limited market opportunity, possibility of improving maybe a Me Too product, a better mousetrap, they would say. You can still have a rewarding journey. As a takeaway, don't worry, having taught Hyperspeed Entrepreneurship, written a book about it, and lived through it, I will leave you with a couple of links below that will get you started on the method and some tips on how to build an awesome product or service that scales. And if you are actually looking for mentoring or deeper training on this subject, then certainly visit entrepreneurseminar.com. If they have space, then they can help. And incidentally, by the way, I still occasionally mentor on that platform. Hope you enjoyed this video. It means a lot to the channel, myself and the team, if you subscribe so that you can get notified about upcoming videos. Until the next video, take care.